Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see the current affairs of 20th May 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see today's quote. So today's quote is by Mahatma Gandhi. So this quote is very important from your ethics point of view. So this quote which mainly talks about concise. So this concise, it is a topic which you will read in your ethics, especially in the chapter 3, that is aptitude and foundational values, right? So here, now let us try to see the quote. So quote is, there is a higher court than court of justice, that is the court of concise. It supersedes all other courts. So this quote which is mainly talking about importance of concise. So concise, it is one of the higher court, okay, than compared to that of the courts of justice. So now let us try to see first topic. So actually this topic which mainly talking about health policy. Okay, so this article which is mainly talking about public health and management cadre. So this article is important from your health, which mainly comes under your GS paper 2. And this topic is important from your mains, not from your prelims. So let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you're talking about context, so in April this year, okay, in April 2022, Union government released a guidance document. So this guidance document, which is mainly talking about public health and management cadre, and also talked about even Indian Physical Health Standards, that is IPHS. So here recently one guidance document which released by our union government, which mainly talked about this public health and management cadre and as well as Indian public health standards. So these are mainly focusing on ensuring of quality healthcare in government facilities. So in government facilities, it is mainly talking about quality healthcare. So in this public health and management cadre, it is mainly follow of recommendations which is mainly made in this Indian National Health Policy 2017. So in our National Health Policy 2017, so it mainly made recommendations for this public health and management cadre. So at present, most of the Indian states, okay, with some exceptions like Tamil Nadu, Odisha, they have teaching cadre. Okay, teaching cadre or medical college faculty members and even some specialist cadre of doctors, they mainly involved in some clinical service, especially in Tamil Nadu and as well as Odisha. We will be having teaching cadre and as well as separate cadre of doctors. So teaching cadre, which is mainly contains the medical college of faculty members, and here this specialist cadre which mainly includes doctors who are mainly involved in some clinical services. And this structure, actually this teaching cadre and this specialist cadre, so which do not provide similar career progression opportunities for the professionals who are mainly trained in this public health. So it is one of the reasons. So because of this, there is a very limited interest that is mainly shown by these healthcare professionals to opt this public health as a career option or career choice. So here what happens, so what will be the outcome whenever these people are not coming forward, especially they will be having some limited interest in this healthcare professionals means, so in our society, we will going to face a shortage of trained public health workforce. And this proposed public health cadre and health management cadre, they have potential to address some of these challenges. Okay, by the release of these guidance documents, so states, they have advised to formulate an action plan and even to identify some cadre strength and even to fill up some vacant posts in the next 6 months to a year. And this revised version of this IPHS, which is mainly again underscores the continued relevance of improved quality of healthcare services. Okay, so in our public health facilities, so because of this revised version of this PHS, okay, Indian PHS, so once again which mainly underscores the continued relevance of this improved quality of healthcare services. And actually if you're talking about the second version of this IPHS, it mainly released in 2017 and it already revised in 2012 as well. So here we need a proper revision, okay, we need a proper update of this policy Okay, and we need to focus especially on the meaningful management, and quality improvement has to be the ongoing process. So we need to go for revisions as well. So what is the role and relevance of this public health management cadre? So actually it is a dedicated professionally trained persons will be there, and they will be trying to address some specific and some complex needs of Indian healthcare delivery system. So even our 12th 5-year plan and our national health policy, which mainly strongly advocated for establishment of this public health management cadre, and this will be having some impact on improving of quality of healthcare services that we are provided in India. So if we are talking about what are the present status of healthcare system in India, so we are facing number of problems. For example, we do not have proper infrastructure. There is lack of infrastructure. For example, if you are talking about primary healthcare centers, they do not have proper continuous water supply also in many rural areas. So in many rural areas, they do not have even proper continuous water supply as well. And there is also inefficient workforce. So we need to introduce some efficient check on working on this medical officers and as well as auxiliary staff as well. So there is no proper workforce as well. And next one is there is no proper awareness to the people. Okay, a lot of primary health problems, they can be solved if we provide effective training and knowledge for this local population. For this, there is no proper lack of awareness in the people. And next one is, so doctor ratio is very low in India. So we have one doctor for every 1700 citizens in India. So here we are facing shortage of doctors in India. Okay, and many a times we can see these doctors are unwillingly to work in these rural areas as well. And genetic medicines, they are highly underrated in India. So because of this underrating of this generic medicines, that mainly led to increasing of out-of-pocket expenditure for the people. And next one is, we can see there is creating of artificial scarcity in area, and we can see higher concentration another area. For example, in urban areas, we are having higher concentration of healthcare facilities, but in the rural areas, we do not find that much. So this is also one important thing. And even we can see there is rampant corruption in the higher level institutions such as Medical Council of India, etc. Okay, apart from all these, the first and the foremost important issue regarding healthcare in India is lack of knowledge and awareness, right? So these are some important issues. So if we're talking about what is the significance of this public health and management cadre, so what happened if there is no proper healthcare professionals, like for example ophthalmists and as well as anesthetics, so then they will be very much hardly to implement reproductive and as well as a child health, okay, control programs in that so and so areas. And apart from that, if there is no proper training, okay, in the principles of this public health means, so we will be having very difficult in management of epidemics, pandemics, etc. And whenever we are mainly focusing on this public health cadre, there will be personals, they will be following the principles of public health management, right? And finally, that will improve the efficiency and effectiveness of our Indian healthcare system as well, such that we can also focus on this medical tourism. Okay, that will be also bringing some forex reserves into India. So here, whenever we are focusing on quality and as well as scientific management or scientific implementation of this public health programs, then poor will also stand to benefit, okay, because they will be also trying to reduce their out-of-pocket expenditure. So number of times I discussed about this out-of-pocket expenditure, so I hope you can recall those things which I already explained in our earlier lectures. So what is the way forward? So what can be done? So for example, so here especially our union government and even states, they can help. They will help in the developing, recruitment, training, implementation, the monitoring of this public health management cadre. So this is one of the important thing that we can go for. And whoever the doctors, they are mainly recruited under this cadre, they should be trained in this public health management on the line of civil services with compulsorily posting for 2 to 3 years at this public health facilities. So in this way, we can increase the quality of healthcare services in India. And now let us try to talk about one interesting topic, that is regarding biosphere reserves. Okay, so pockets of hope linking nature and humanity. So here on May 22nd, we are going to celebrate this International Biodiversity International Day for Biological Diversity. So because of this, now this biological reserves is in use, and we are going to talk about the number of biosphere reserves in the South Asia especially. So how we can go for conservation of this biodiversity, that is one of the cause of concern now. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. This topic is important from our environment and ecology, which mainly comes in a GS paper 3. So now let us try to see here what is the context. So on May 22nd, we are going to celebrate International Day of Biological Diversity. So as you all know that this biodiversity is nothing but it is a living fabric of our planet. Okay, so we can see wide range of flora and fauna that is present across the world. So whenever what happened because of the actions of human beings in the present and as well as in the future, so we are going to see there might be rapid declining of this flora and fauna, that is biodiversity across us. So because of this, it will be having some negative impact on the nature and even the humans alike. So the recent report by this Global Assessment Report on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services released, okay, so this report which was released in 2019, and this report released by Intergovernmental State Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecological Services. So here this Global Assessment Report on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, which mainly released by Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services at this UNESCO headquarters in Paris. So it is one of the main global drivers of biodiversity, and the main, if you are talking about this report which mainly says that, so which are some important factors that led to decreasing of biodiversity. So first one here is, so this biodiversity loss which mainly happens because of this climate change. So because of this climate change, there is a decreasing of this flora and fauna, and apart from that, invasive species. So invasive species or the foreign species, they are coming from the other area to this so and so ecosystem, and what happened, rapidly their number is increasing and there is no predators, they mainly eat them. Okay, so because of this, their population will be very much high. So because of increasing of their population, that will be having some negative impact on the native species which are present in that area. So whenever invasive species are coming here, means what happened, that will lead to sometimes extinction of those species, that is native species which are present in this area, right? So because of this climate change, because of this invasive species, over exploitation of this natural resources and pollution and urbanization, so these are some important factors or the drivers of this biodiversity loss. So if you're talking about the earth is under strain now, so now let's try to understand this thing, that why earth is under strain. So because of our collective excesses, because of exploitation we are mainly doing by human beings, so the ecological carrying capacity of the planet of the earth has largely been exceeded. So here the ecological carrying capacity of planet earth has largely been exceeded. So because of this, if we are not addressing some challenges like pollution and drinking water, enough food, and as well as healthy habits to ensure our ecosystem services continue to benefit humanity without critically affecting the nature's balance. So we need to address them. So or else what happened, that will leads to destruction. Okay. So if we're talking about biosphere reserves of the key, so one of the best mechanism that had been used for the maintaining of biodiversity is biosphere reserves. So it is one of the best mechanisms that has been created in the world network of biosphere reserves, which mainly created in 1971 by UNESCO. So UNESCO came up with this biospheres concept in year 1971, and at that time, so what are these biospheres? So these biospheres are nothing but the places where humans, they will live in harmony with the nature. So here humans, they will be living in harmony with the nature, and where there is an effective combination of sustainable development and as well as nature conservation. So we are mainly focusing on combination of sustainable development and as well as nature conservation. Okay, so biosphere reserves are the places where humans, they live in harmony with the nature. So where there is an effective combination of sustainable development and as well as nature conservation. So here these biosphere reserves, they mainly represent the pockets of hope and as well as proof that we are not inexorably headed towards doomsday ecological scenario, which mainly provided we take some action. So here whenever we are talking about this biosphere reserves, yes, we are taking some actions especially to conserve so and so flora and as well as so and so fauna. So if we are focusing on especially the South Asia, so we are having about 30 biosphere reserves. So we have about 30 biosphere reserves which mainly established in the South Asia region. So the first such a biosphere reserve which mainly came into picture is Hurulu Biosphere Reserve, and this Hurulu Biosphere Reserve which is located in Sri Lanka. So you can expect a prelims question here. So here this Hurulu Biosphere Reserve is in use. So where it is located? So this Hurulu Biosphere Reserve, it is the first biosphere reserve. So it is located in Sri Lanka. So it has about 1977 species and it mainly comprises about 25,500 hectares within this tropical dry evergreen forest. And in India, the first biosphere reserve which mainly designated by UNESCO is Blue Mountains, and these Blue Mountains which is located in Nilgiris. Okay, so it mainly seen in the states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and as well as Kerala region. So this Nilgiri, it is nothing but wherever this Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats they will meet, they meet at this Nilgiri. Okay, so actually this network has gone from strength to strength, and now we are having about 12 sites with Panna. With the Panna which is recently added this UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in 2020. So we are talking about diverse system. Yes, South Asia which is having a very diverse set of ecosystems. For example, if you are talking about Bhutan, India, Nepal, they combined of several thousands of glaciers, and they are also surrounded by lakes and as well as alpine ecosystems as well. So if we are talking about this Kanchenjunga Biosphere Reserve, which mainly established in 2018 as a good model, and actually this Kanchenjunga Biosphere Reserve, which is mainly included at the highest, okay, it is one of the highest. So it is one of the highest ecosystem in the world, and the elevation is about 8,586 meters. And this area which is very much rich in orchids and as well as rare plant species. So recently one article we studied in our Hindu that is regarding different types of orchids where they are present, and the one person who mainly focused on the preservation of this orchids. So that thing we already discussed in our Hindu analysis, I think 1 week ago. So it is at the same time there are more than 35,000 people, they mainly live there, and their main economic activities, they are crop production, animal husbandry, fishing, dairy products and as well as poultry farming. So if you're talking about Bangladesh, India, Maldives, Sri Lanka, they all have the extensive coastlines. So we are also having coral reefs, mangrove forest present in India and as well as Bangladesh. And these are the areas which mainly exposed to extreme weather events like tsunamis, floods, droughts, and as well as increasing of sea level rise. So Maldives, they are mainly recognized as the lowest lying country in the world, and if you're talking about elevation, it's like 1.5 meters above the high tide mark. So what happened here? This Maldives, which is an archipelago, so this mainly embarked on the plan to establish the pilot sites for the conservation and as well as restoration of the coastal ecosystems. So here we need to focus on this conservation and as well as restoration of the coastal ecosystems, and we need to focus on enhancing of population's knowledge regarding this climate change as well. So if we are talking about science-based plans, yes, this UNESCO Biosphere Reserve has all developed science-based management plans, and we are mainly focusing on some local solution for the sustainable human living and as well as nature conservation, etc. And we are also focusing on some issues like biodiversity, clean energy, climate, environmental education, waste management, water management, etc. So for all these things, we are mainly supported by some scientific research and as well as monitoring. And the important aim, it is to detect the changes, and after detecting the changes, we need to for finding of solutions to increase this climate resilience. And all biosphere reserves, they are internationally recognized sites of land, and we can see on the coast as well as in the oceans as well. So before this approval by the UNESCO, so sites are generally examined. So here we need to talk about the role of government as well. Okay, so here we need to go for agreed plan, and after once plan is done, here routine checks will be done. and after that, here what happened, the status which will be given by UNESCO. But if you're talking about some countries in South Asia, they do not have any or enough biosphere reserves. Some countries, they do not have even a single biosphere reserve as well. So what might be reason? The reason might be there is no proper political will as well. And if you're talking about priority countries now, so Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, they are the priority list of UNESCO because they do not have any biosphere reserves. So now here we need to go for, okay, so we need to mainly go for terrestrial services, including coastal areas and as well as offshore islands. And finally, we need to realize that the million people that are mainly having better future is truly possible if we are going for conservation in these areas. And here we need to go for living truly with the harmony with nature. So this is about this topic. And now let's try to see next topic. It is regarding crushing lives. So this article, which is mainly talking about enforcement of rules in quarries. Okay, whenever there is a proper enforcement of rules, then that will lead to decreasing of environment and as well as the human cost as well. So this article is important from your disaster management, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3, and even from your GS paper 2 under society also we can talk about this. So if you're talking about enforcement of rules, so working hazardous sites, for example, you can talk about quarries and you can talk about mining areas, so where especially explosives are used, okay, and even heavy machinery which are mainly deployed in the it is mainly fraught with risk. So working with hazardous sites such as quarries and where extensively some plastic materials are using, it is very dangerous. So if you're talking about this human casualties in accidents, they caused at these sites mainly due to some greed induced exploitation, and whenever there is violation of safety and operational norms, and as well as collision and as well as regulators. So these are some important problems that we can see in these areas. So because why it is in news, so there are about 3 workers in this privately owned Venkateshwara stone crusher unit, which mainly located in Tamil Nadu. So here what happened, because of the falling of a boulder which mainly trapped 6 workers, okay, and what happened, so because of this about 3 persons they lost their life. And if we are talking about management, according to the State Director of Mining and Geology, so they mainly said that they sent a notice last month and also instructed to suspend operations after violating of some norms regarding this environment. So yet the operations had been went on illegally until this fateful night, okay, until this fateful night that came into arise. So here what happened, perhaps a random inspection, so whenever officers they are going for a random inspections in the intergenum could have been prevented loss of life. And if you're talking about preliminary inquiry, which mainly suggests that crucier unit which has facilities for the manufacture of M sand and as well as blue metal had been compromised safety along with the vehicle path. So what happened, this unit which mainly has this M sand as well as blue metal manufacturers, but they are mainly compromising on this vehicle path. So now the Revenue Secretary has announced that so comprehensive safety audit exercises in all stone quarries is important. And what are the political nexus that is present between these officers, they should be cracked down. And this one is when we are going for plundering of these natural resources, okay, which are environmental unsustainable, means we need to go for setting up of committees, etc., and we can go for analyzing of that project. And next one here is, for example, former IAS officer, that is U Sagayam, he mainly belongs to this Madras High Court, okay. He mainly appointed as this Madras High Court legal commissioner. He had estimated that about 16,000 crore loss to the exchequer because of this illegal granite mining in this Madurai region alone. So there has been mushrooming of this type of a number of quarries across the world, okay, across the India for example. So because of this, what happened now, here last year High Court has ordered that closure of about 64 unlicensed stone crushers in this Tripur district. Okay, only genuine administrative will sustain the enforcement of rules and as well as quarrying in the real consequence. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says Understanding India's Ethanol Blending Policy. So this article already we discussed in our yesterday's lecture. Once again, let us try to see this topic. So this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under science and technology, and also even under our economy. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. So recently, so why it is in news, our Union Cabinet approved amendments to this National Policy on Biofuels 2018, and it may advance the date to achieve this 20% of ethanol blending from 2030 to 2025. So we came up with advancing of this date or year. So this policy, which is mainly focusing on introducing of 20% of ethanol blending, and this will come into effect from 2023 April 1st onwards. So now let us try to see what is significance of ethanol blending. Then we are going to see some international case studies as well. So the first important significance here is, so that will be helpful for reducing of our dependency on petroleum. So actually we are mainly importing crude oil, okay, from the different countries, and we are using this petrol and diesel after mainly fractional distillation, that is refineries. Also oil refineries, they will be going for refining of this crude oil, and we will be getting petrol, diesel at the different densities through this fractional distillation. So by blending of this ethanol with this petrol, then that will reduce the amount of petrol that will be required to run a car. So because of this, we can decrease our imports, okay. And next one here is save money. So here whenever we are decreasing our imports of this crude oil, automatically we can save our money, okay, that is forex reserves. So how much amount? That is, India's net import of petroleum was 185 million tons in 2020 to 2021. So cost is US dollars 551 billion. And most of the petroleum products, they are used in the transportation, and therefore here E20 program, that is blending of ethanol with this petrol 20%, that can save the countries US dollars 4 billion annually. And there will be also less polluting, because whenever we are going for blending of this petrol with ethanol, so that will be helpful for complete combustion of this petrol, so that will be releasing less amount of pollutants into air, so that we can also decrease the pollutants. And next one is availability of large arable land is there, and whenever we are going for rising of production of food grains and sugar cane, that will lead to surpluses. And whenever we are having the technology to produce ethanol from this plant based sources, then that will be very, very helpful. And if you're talking about issues, so yes, whenever we are going for preparation of this ethanol from the food grains, that will be also affect our hunger, because already we are performing very, very bad in global hunger index, that is 101 out of this 116 countries. And if you're talking about cost, production of biofuels requires land, and is also having some impacts on the cost of the biofuels. And next one here is water use. So whenever we are going for this water intensive crop like sugarcane, that will be having some impact on the negative usage of water, because already we are using large quantities of water for this water intensive crops. Okay, now we are talking about diversification of this crops from water intensive to waterless incentive. So whenever government, which is mainly saying that we are going for production of this biofuel, means that will be also lead to some negative impact on the water usage in India. So if we are talking about efficiency, so fossil fuels, they produce more energy, okay, than some other biofuels. For example, if you are using 1 gallon of ethanol, which mainly produces less energy than compared to that of 1 gallon of gasoline. And if you're talking about international experiences or case studies, so here in many other countries like Brazil, they are mainly using flex fuel engine technology. So this flex fuel engine technology, which is mainly helps for running of vehicles that run entirely on ethanol, okay. So here they are mainly popular in Brazil. They comprise about 80% of their total new vehicles based on this flex fuel engine technology. And next one here is the cost of this flex fuel vehicles will be very high, okay. So if you're talking about the current generation vehicles, so if you're comparing with this current generation, so these vehicles will be like 17,000 to 25,000 high cost. And if you're talking about two-wheeled vehicles also, it is mainly like 5,000 to 12,000 high cost compared to of this petrol vehicles. And if you're talking about price of ethanol, which mainly produced in India, or higher compared to that of US and as well as Brazil. So because if you're talking about in India, government will be producing minimum support price, okay. So because of this, the price of this ethanol which mainly produced in India will be like high compared to that of US and as well as Brazil. And if you're talking about environment cost, so whenever we are blending this ethanol with petrol, then what happens, that will be helpful for complete combustion of this petrol, so that we can see there will be minimal amount of pollutants will be released into air. And even if you're talking about the text which mainly conducted in India, which mainly shows that there is no reduction of nitrogenous oxides, it is one of the major environmental pollutants. And even the report by this Institute of Energy Economics and Financial Analysis, which mainly says that India to meet its target of 20% of ethanol blended in petrol by year 2025. So because of this, what happened, we need to bring additional 30,000 square kilometers of land to come under the maize cultivation. Okay, so half of that can be used more efficiently for production of the solar energy, okay, rather than compared to that of this ethanol. So these are some important things which are mainly given. Actually in 2020 there is one question regarding this national policy on biofuels. So let us try to see this question. So according to India's national policy on biofuels, which of the following can be used as raw materials for production of biofuels? First one is cassava, yes. Second one is damaged wheat grains, yes. Third one is groundnuts, groundnuts cannot be used. And next one is horse gram cannot be used. And next one is rotten potatoes, yes. Sugar beet, yes. So correct option is 1, 2, 5 and 6. Okay, 1, 2, 5 and 6. So correct option is A. So under this national policy of biofuels, they said that raw materials can be used here is sugar beet, sweet sorghum, starch containing materials like corn, cassava, and damaged food grains like wheat, broken rice, rotten potatoes, okay, which are mainly unfit for human consumption. So we can go for production of ethanol. And next topic is about child online safety toolkit. So why we need to talk about this child online safety toolkit now? So because of this COVID-19 pandemic, so many students, almost our education system had been badly affected, and most of the children from KG to PG, especially, they sit in the houses and they started moving towards this online education. So because of this online education here, the students, they mainly have some impact, okay, some negative impact whenever they are using this online platforms, especially if you're talking about whenever we are saying our children to see the classes on this YouTube or on this some websites, okay, where we can go for online teaching, for example Zoom platforms like that. So our children, they started using some other things like Facebook, Twitter and some important some apps, okay. So because of this, this is a much vulnerability of our children to come under, for example, sexual abuse like that. So because of this, now whenever we are allowing our children to use this online platforms, so we need to also focus on the safety is also the important, and it is a paramount. So if you're talking about this article, which is important regarding GS paper 2 and the society, so if we're talking about context, it mainly says that the child online safety toolkit was launched earlier this week, and this is an attempt to make online experience safe for children. So we are mainly focusing on safety of the children. So here this online platform, or we can say like, so this online safety toolkit, so it is mainly scripted and put together by this Britain based NGO 5 Rights. Actually, they mainly works to ensure the safety of children rights, and they mainly prioritize the digital world as well. So this toolkit, which mainly provides practical and accessible roadmap to create digital world where children and young people, they will be safer and they will be fulfilled, right? So if you're talking about this platform, which mainly includes some step-by-step instructions, and that will help to access and inform policy development at all stages of the process, and they will be focusing on especially online safety of children. So if we're talking about some details, so what is this online safety toolkit? So here research which mainly done by this 5 Rights, they may reveal that within 24 hours, whenever children, they are entering into the social media and whenever they are creating the social media profile, so child had been targeted with a graphic content, okay. So whenever, for example, there are some major internet players, for example, you can talk about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. They were mainly enabling some unsolicited contact from adult strangers, okay, who sometimes they recommend some unsavory content, okay. For example, the material which is related to eating disorders, extreme diets, self-harm, suicides, and sometimes sexualized imagery as well. So because of this, they will be having some impact on the children. So here, the founder of this Five Rights Foundation is Baroness B. Ban Ki-moon. So he mainly says that in introduction to the toolkit, it is mainly increasing in this connected world. So in this connected world, we need safe and enabling digital environment for children, okay, and the policymakers across the globe, they need to work, okay, regarding engagement between children and as well as digital world. So here in this digital world, we are seeing children, they are mainly coming under sexual exploitation, abuse also, like that, okay. So safety is a very important for the children who are using this internet. So if you see data in 2020, about 65 million pieces of child sexual abuse material has been reported in this National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in the US. Okay, so and many more cases they had been undetected. So this toolkit which mainly guarantees this online safety, it is not just about responding to the risk and as well as harms, but we need to actively design digital environment that need to be very much safe for every child. Okay, and they are mainly focusing on privacy, safety and rights, etc. So what does this toolkit mainly provides? So children online safety toolkits which mainly claims that they are mainly guiding to make some online world which is free of harm for the children, and they are mainly want to build some existing international agreements and the best practices developed in the consultation with the international experts as well. And they are mainly focusing on worksheets and as well as resources, etc. And they are mainly focusing on child online safety. So there are mainly 5 things which are mainly that need to be kept in mind by every policy makers, okay, and they will be enshrining about this child online safety, okay. And it is also talking about 10 policy action areas, and they will be working as a road maps and key practical steps that need to make child online safety reality. Okay, and next one here is, so this toolkit which also separates obligations into 10 subject areas which mainly support in implementation of the key international agreements, frameworks, sustainable development goals and United Nations Convention on the Rights of Children, etc. Yeah, so this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding GST related laws. So here Supreme Court says center and states, they have equal parts. So this article, it is very sensational now, and this is the hot topic, and we are going to get many more articles regarding this topic in our future. So this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under economy and even in the GS paper 2 under polity as well. So if you see context, it mainly says that Supreme Court on Thursday which mainly said that importance of cooperative federalism. So cooperative federalism is nothing but it is a flexible, okay, it is a flexible thing which is present between the center and state. So here center and state, they will come together and they will be working to mainly to solve some issues between the center and as well as state, and that will be helpful for the country at large, okay, for the public interest at the large. So cooperative federalism, it is one of the important concept that we will read in the polity and as well as in our governance. So if you are talking about this article which mainly says that the Supreme Court in a judgment championing the importance of cooperative federalism for the well-being of democracy, which mainly held that union and state legislature, they have equal, simultaneous and unique powers to make laws on this GST, that is goods and services tax, and the recommendations of this GST council, they are just recommendationary in nature, they are not binding on them. So this is a one important and sensational thing which mainly said by Supreme Court. So here apex court, the Supreme Court decision which mainly came while confirming this Gujarat High Court's ruling that center cannot levy integrated goods and service tax on the ocean flight from this Indian importers. Okay, so in this way here for this Indian importers, it is mainly having some relief actually. Okay, so the recommendations of this GST council, they are mainly recommendation in nature, they are not binding at all. So to regard this binding, okay, it would mainly disturb the physical federalism. So if there is a binding means, so whatever the recommendations were given by the GST council means, so it will be like a disrupting of physical federalism, okay, between the union and as well as states. So this is a thing which mainly said by Chandrachud, okay, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. So court also emphasizes that Article 246A of Indian Constitution, which mainly gives the states power to make laws with respect to this GST as well. Okay, so these are some things which are mainly said in this article. And I want to give you homework. So till now I didn't give you homework, right? So please refer about this GST council. So which is the article which mainly talking about that. Who are the members of this GST council and what is the mandate of this GST council? So you have to know these facts regarding this GST council and let me know in the comment box. And now let us try to see yesterday's question. The first one is regarding public accounts of India. So Article 266, which mainly provides for public accounts of India. With regard to public account of India, which of the following statements are correct? So first one is it includes provident funds, savings, deposits and the loans which are raised by Government of India. But it will not include provident funds and the saving deposit. It is nothing but loans which are raised by India, which mainly comes under this CFI. Okay. So first statement is incorrect, and next one is payments from the account can be made without parliamentary appropriation. Yes. And the account will be operated by executive action. Yes. So correct option will be 2 and 3 only. And next one is the power. So Rajya Sabha will having the equal power with Lok Sabha. So first one is introduction and passage of financial bills involving expenditure from this consolidated fund of India. Yes. Impeachment of vice president. So impeachment of vice president, here Rajya Sabha will be having more power than Lok Sabha. Next one is impeachment of president. Yes, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they have having equal powers. And next one is enlargement of jurisdiction of SC and Supreme Court and UPSC. Yes. So correct option will be 2, 3 and 4. That is 4 is the correct option. And today's questions are the first one is 10th schedule, that is about anti-defection law. And second question, it is regarding proportional representation. Okay, so please try to read the statements and give me the correct options. And I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So we came up with this pen drive course for your foundation 2023 and 2024, and we are discussing each and every topic in a very great detail from basic onwards. So if you watch this videos, then each and every concept will be clear from the basics onwards. So it will be very helpful for coming up with conceptual clarity. So this conceptual clarity is very important now because UPSC started changing their trends. It changed the trends from asking from the fact-based questions towards this analysis-based question. And to answer those questions in the both prelims and mains, you need to have a conceptual clarity that you can get if you follow this foundational course that we are offering in our Rathod's IAS Academy. So if you want to take individual courses wherever you are weak, for example, in economy if you are weak, or in geography you are not understanding concepts, so in ethics you are not getting examples and you don't know like how to approach the questions and case studies, so you can take the individual courses. So here in this Rathod's IAS Academy, I am taking geography and as well as ethics, and I will be ensuring you that you will be getting all the concepts which are very much clear without any doubt. And here economy, which is mainly taken by Sarwan sir, and politics is taken by Shashwat Raghav ma'am, and international relations by Tanya ma'am, and history by Rajesh sir. Okay, and science and technology by Syed Aziz sir. So there are a wide range of faculty with a very much experience. They taught all these classes, so you can take these courses. That will be very useful. And if you have any queries, so please call me on this number 8074765513. And apart from this, if you want to watch the demo videos, you can visit our website Rathod's IAS Academy and you can register there, and you can watch the 3 demo videos which are free of cost. Okay, and if you want to get the PDF of this class, you can join the Telegram channel. Link is given in description box. And now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu. Date is May 20 and this is Delhi edition. So first topic is regarding GST related laws. I discussed this topic, and here there is one article and one keyword I want to focus here is terror funding. So what is terror funding? So this is one important topic under your internal security. And next topic is regarding this Pyongyang bridge. So India, which is mainly monitoring the construction of this Pyongyang bridge, okay, from the Chinese side, and India says that it is mainly present in the occupied territory. So we need to think about that, and we need to see the location of this Pongyong lake. And in this article you can see Supreme Court to hear this Gyan Vapi case. So this Gyan Vapi case, it is like Babri Masjid case. Okay, so we need to see whether whether what will be happen in this case. Once the Supreme Court judgment is given, we will be getting number of articles there, we can discuss about this topic. And if you move forward, there is nothing much in this city page and as well as states page today. So you can directly move to this editorial page. In this editorial page, I discussed regarding this health policy, I discussed regarding this biodiversity or biosphere reserves, I discussed about the strict enforcement of rules in this mining. And if you move forward in this data point, this article which is mainly talking about this rural inflation. So you can see this article once already we discussed this topic, and you can see the numbers and you can see where your state which mainly stands. And in this text and context, I discussed regarding this India's ethanol blending policy, I discussed about this online safety toolkit. And if you move forward in this news page, there is nothing much important. And here you can see BRICS must press aid to tackle this climate crisis. So here our External Affairs Minister, he mainly says about Ukraine crisis which is mainly going on, and even he mainly said that BRICS foreign ministers level meet in this BRICS foreign levels meet here. He mainly said that yes, BRICS need to provide some aid, provide some help for tackling of this climate change. So this BRICS is very important, and you have to know some facts regarding this BRICS. And next one is Pongyong bridge constructed in occupied territory, which mainly says by center. So India, which is mainly closely monitoring this construction of this bridge by China on this Pongyong So Lake in eastern Ladakh region, and central government which mainly says that it is mainly located in the occupied territory. So here we need to know about some facts regarding this Pongyong bridge. And next topic, it is regarding our Prime Minister. He is going to fly to Japan for Quad Summit next week. So here we need to know about what is this Quad. Already I discussed number of times regarding this facts regarding this Quad. You can revise them once. And if you move forward, there is one article regarding child's rights groups oppose the raising of marriage age of women. So here recently what happened now, umbrella body of child rights organization. So this is mainly set up by Nobel laureate, that is Kailash Satyarthi. So this organization which is mainly saying that whenever we are increasing the age of legal age for the marriage of girls from 18 years to 21 years, it is not actually necessary, but he says that we need to focus on education as well as if you are focusing on education, automatically that will lead to delay in marriage. There is no need of increasing of legal age for marriage of women from 18 years to 12 years. So this is the thing which mainly said by this person. And here you need to revise about the prevention of child marriage bill of 2021 as well. So here you need to know some facts regarding this bill. And next article here, it is regarding ASI Bhart's visit to Aurangzeb top. So here you need to focus on some important features of this Aurangzeb top. Actually this topic is important from your art and culture point of view regarding this Delhi Sultanates, and as well as you can talk about Mughals architecture. So how transformation of this architecture which mainly happened from this Delhi Sultanates towards this Mughals, and what are some important characteristic features that we can see in this architecture of Mughals. That thing we need to think about. And if you move forward in this economy page, you can see, or business page, Supreme Court verdict will not alter GST regime. So this thing which mainly said by our finance minister. So because of the Supreme Court verdict says that GST Council recommendations, or GST Council recommend what are the recommendations are given by the GST Council, they are just recommendatory in nature, they are not mandatory or they are not binding. So because of this, here finance minister she mainly says that this verdict of Supreme Court will not alter this GST regime. And there is one more article, that is equity indices plunged 2.6% on inflation growth concerns. So here what happened, because of this tightening of monetary policy, and even we are focusing on decreasing of money supply in the market, that is to decrease the liquidity in the market. So finally it will be having some impact on the growth. So this is the thing which mainly said in this article. And there is one article, that is India signs to deal export about 8.5 metric tons of sugar. So here you need to know about what is ISMA, that is Indian Sugar Mills Association. I already discussed about this topic in her earlier lectures, and you have to know about what are the favorable conditions for the growing of sugarcane as well. So these are some important topics that appear in this today's newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And if you have any queries, so please call me on the given number which is given in the description box, and even you can visit our website for the demo classes, and for the PDF, join the Telegram channel. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much.